I do not choose to be a common man. It is my right to be uncommon if I can.
I seek opportunity, not security. I want to take the calculated risk.
To dream and to build, to fail and to succeed.
I prefer the challenges of life to the guaranteed existence, the thrill of fulfillment to the stale calm of utopia.
I will never cower before any master,
nor bend to any threat.
It is my heritage to stand erect, proud, unafraid, to think and act for myself.
To enjoy the benefit of my creations.
And to face the world boldly and say, "This I have done."
All this is what it means to be an entrepreneur.
Thomas Paine, Common Sense.
Good morning, friends, entrepreneurs on the interwebs. Nobody's awake. It's been a week, guys. I'm Rachael Blaske.
And I'm Julie Ahern.
And we're here at the tail end of season 3. So I'm here with Julie, VP and COO of Greenbrier Games, and myself, VP of Channel Marketing for Wise Wizard Games, where we're going to chat over a good cup of coffee and look back at the top 5 moments of season 3, talk about a few that I couldn't find the time to video edit, and we are going to have a blast talking about your comments and questions in the live chats because you're invited.
This episode is brought to you by Arcane Wonders and their game Hello Neighbor, the Secret Neighbor party game based on the hit video Secret Neighbor, available wherever you buy games.
This is going to be a beautiful one, guys. We're loopy. Oh man. And because we're loopy and because we're exhausted, and you need to help us wake everybody up. So go ahead and share. All right, guys. I don't know if you knew this, but Gamma Expo online was this week, and I'm
not there yet. We're not there yet. Wait.
No, I know. I just want to say I feel like I was at a con this week, and so I'm exhausted. And so, tell us all about it, Julie.
All right, so news. I'm going to tell you about the news, but I'm not starting with Gamma. I'm starting with Gen Con.
Oh! Yes.
Because Gen Con yesterday announced they are pushing back the dates. September 16th through 19th are the new dates for Gen Con. And they are not just doing Gen Con by itself, because of course they're scaling back the numbers, but they're doing Gen Con online and pop-up Gen Con. Pop-up Gen Con means you can go to your friendly local game store and they will have a mini, event sponsored by Gen Con and retailers at Gen Con to play games, demo games that otherwise wouldn't be available. So that's what the pop-up is, so that you can go someplace locally. Gen Con online for people who do not feel that it is safe, and then Gen Con. And they've moved the dates so that it is 2 weeks or week and a half after Origins.
Before
Origins. Before Origins.
Time is meaningless.
And then like 2 weeks after that is Essen.
Yeah.
And there's also Dragon Con in there. I don't know.
So many.
Have fun. It's I guess it's roulette for everybody who wants to attend any of them.
That's right. Oh my gosh, Adam, you get a Gen Con and you get a Gen Con and you get
So that happened. There was some discussion about because the first day of the convention is also the last day of Yom Kippur.
Mm-hmm.
And so that has been frustrating for everybody in the Jewish community who is either a gamer or works in the industry.
Right.
So Gen Con is now working to try to make some accommodations for that, and we are happy that they are choosing to do so.
Yes.
So that's Gen Con. Then look at all the people. Gamma Expo was this week, and Tuesday of next week, I believe the following Tuesday after that. So they've spread it out because it's Gamma Online, and there are plenty of people who I'm pretty sure were there. Our audience.
I
I'm
mean,
going to
do
be
you like
reporting.
all
I'm like
these
preaching to
bubbles?
the choir.
I know.
So, but let me give you my quick rundown of what happened in case you missed it.
Story time with Julie.
Story time with Julie. So in the Gamma Trade Show, we had keynote speakers on the day one from Asmodee. On day two, the state of the industry from publishers, retailers, and manufacturers. Where we're at. There was some great information in both of those, but some of the big ones with that Asmodee is raising prices across the board because partners, manufacturers are also raising prices in China at the very least because raw goods, the prices are being raised. So there's a wide range of how much and where. So you're just be an informed consumer or informed publisher that prices seem to be trending towards going up. Big announcements. Well, we'll save one for later in the show. Lucky Duck Kids was announced. There were a lot of great announcements. And then there were some great panels. Some very fun, valuable information was given. Spatial Chat, the platform, was a big hit across the board. So as you can see from the image, you have little bubbles that show your video face or just an avatar, and you can jump from room to room. Conversation was proximity conversation, but it was far more organic than it has been in platforms such as Discord. So there was a lot of conversation happening that has not necessarily been going on other platforms and felt more like an actual convention.
Yeah.
And the fact that it was online meant this was the first Gamma that many retailers and publishers from overseas were able to attend, and that was quite exciting as well.
Yeah.
So access to new venues and new demographics for us in the United States and vice versa. The Gamma board met yesterday, and quick rundown of what happened there for anybody who missed it, because you didn't want to sit in for the 2 to 4 hours that it takes for a Gamma board meeting. I'm here to help. Here's what happened. Our president, Stefan, did his address, which was primarily a very big thank you to everybody for making the Gamma Expo a success. We talked about how membership numbers are almost maintained in part, great part, thanks to the Gamma Expo, a lot of last minute entries from new members who saw value of the online convention, which was a big deal because typically the convention itself is a very big proponent for membership. So people seeing value in that was important. Our secretary told us, or our treasurer told us that still taking a hit from not having conventions this past year, except online ones, but that we've been mitigating it and it hasn't been as bad as it could have been. So that's
right.
Silver lining. And then the committees all gave their yearly annual report. There was a number of them. The Hall of Fame announced the inductees. Advocacy Committee has met several times to talk about bringing in additional new membership. Let's see what else. There were a lot of them, so I'm trying to give you just the highlights.
Yeah.
Well, Education Committee, because that's near and dear to my heart. We've been working on increasing the adult education and kind of taking what we've done here at You're Invited to give snippets of business advice from different experts online, not just during conventions. So basically mini panels throughout the year, working on that. The Market Expansion Committee and the Education Committee are working in conjunction to bring education board games into libraries for younger audiences to get them invested, and also so that it's a lower barrier to entry for people because it's the library, and then get them invested in playing games so that they come on over to our fun little world. And then the bylaws committee gave their report, and of course that was the biggest announcement, because rewriting the bylaws to change it from publishers only as voting members to having 6 different groups: retailers, distribution, and then also you have the I'm not remembering what we named them specifically in the bylaws, which is funny because I've been working on it for a half a year now. But basically, designers, all the creatives, the logistics, yeah. So it's going to be a big deal if it goes through. So
Well,
if you are
I
a
like
publisher, this is something that we've worked on and really believe in. And if you want to talk to me about it separately, I'm happy to talk till I'm blue in the face about it. Super excited about it.
it's definitely bringing everybody into the conversation, whereas before some voices have been louder than others.
Yeah. And then also, so in the other meetings for retail, Dawn Studebaker has stepped down as heading up the retail division, and they have voted in. I had not, as of this morning, heard who the new new board member will be. But best wishes to Dawn. She's given 4 years of her life to the Gamma Trade Organization. We appreciate that. And then Cito ran the manufacturing one after. I don't know if he was voted back in or not. But getting to spend the last year with him, I'll be excited if he continues. So that is what happened in the news this week at a glance.
Oh man, it was a lot. It was really, really fun to see everybody, and even trying to replicate some of the con experiences like karaoke at the bar. So definitely something to check out. And if you're not a part of Gamma, you really missed out this week. Sorry. It was great.
Membership is still available.
Yeah. And how many, one of the things that you mentioned was that they were down because of not having conventions. And then day 2 of Gamma Online was a huge jump in membership because everybody heard about how awesome it was going and came and bought memberships.
And there's even talk, because it was such a success, talk about continuing this, doing online Gamma events more frequently, so that retailers and publishers and people, trade people, can get together and have a more regular conversation that's more organic than just, here's my sell sheet, let me send you 500 emails.
Right.
Maybe you'll see them, or maybe they'll be lost in the sea of other emails. I think that's a lot of people are excited by the prospect, and so Gamma is already looking into it. Right.
Yeah, it was an amazing experience. So, oh man. Well, just to remind you all, you can click the 3 dots in the upper right-hand corner, and you can choose to be notified every time we go live. And we also have the link to our YouTube account in the description box below, so you can subscribe and find our archived shows after streaming.
So we're doing a retrospective. We're doing it was a great season.
Gosh, it was so good.
Not to toot my own horn here, but it was a great season.
So good.
We had some incredible people on to talk to and give their expertise and learn from, and I enjoyed it so much. So it was a bit of a challenge to narrow them down so that we weren't just sitting here being like okay, again, I'm of an age, but like when your mom was like, let's have a slideshow of our vacation, and you're like, Mom, where you have to see and that was the rock you sat next to, and that was the hot dog you ate while sitting next to the rock, and that was it was kind of hard to narrow it down, folks, is what I'm trying to say. But we did. We did only a few. So let's start with, Jade Rogers.
Yep.
Who was one of our first guests.
Oh, so
she
good.
spoke to us about community management, and works for non-for-profits. And she gave us a lot. She had tons to share. But one of her key takeaways ranks so true. So we're going to watch that now.
the vision and the mission that we have for the organization, I try to stay true to that. And I try to listen to the needs of the community, because it's more than just me now. It's more than just what I want. It's what the community needs. So if I am authentic to my mission and I am listening to what people need, then I am giving them everything that the community can access and build from.
Man, she was just such a hub for people, for information. She's so intelligent. Like I would sit there and just listen to Jade Rogers all day long. Just tell me all the things.
Well, it was great because you can tell it's not just the program, but her centered self that has brought people to her to then organize them into to have this place to be, have a home away from home for a lot of people, and that's amazing. It was wonderful to listen to her, and I also just listening, you can tell she is very grounded. She's very centered. We are very frenetic. So like,
yes, I'm like, just calm me. You're like liquid Vicodin. I don't even know. Like, what bring to me? Okay, yes.
So it was great. Her show was amazing. Picking just one moment was rather challenging. We talked about a couple of them.
Yep. It was, I know. And so much of it was trying to keep it not amazingly long to listen to all of her beautiful stories. So you guys, absolutely, if you missed that one, it's on YouTube. Go back, check it out, or it's also here on our page. So
Lauren just posted something that I'd love to share because I was going to bring it up, but she did it for me.
Oh, go ahead. Let me hang on. Yeah, bringing it up. Yes. So Chris is Chris runs the charity Board Gamer, and he's raising funds for House of Afros, Capes, and Curls during in April. So I need more information here.
So Charity Board Gamer does all kinds of events, Chris, and he's amazing. And but he's doing one for House of Afros, Capes, and Curls coming up soon. So
yes, it's like a whole marathon. I think it's like on April 10th, if I remember correctly. Which,
and if you're not, he'll correct you in the chat, I'm sure.
Yeah, he's here, and Lauren is keeping us on point tonight or today. What the heck time of day is it? Okay, all right, back to work. I wanted to say that Joyce, one of my other friends that came on to talk, she is a doula here in Lincoln, and she talked to us about starting a new business, and from the perspective of going from an established job to being an entrepreneur. And a lot of us have done that. And so I really appreciated that conversation, and her advice was incredible. And I want to share that with you now.
What I'm seeing happen, and what hopefully is happening for more people than not, is that they're seeing these numbers and going, okay, this is the reality. I'd better do something about it. And they're turning that fear into action. Yeah. So that's what I hope is happening. And that's
turning what fear into action is, I like that.
It's a life skill.
Into action.
I like
turning fear into action. You've got to figure out what you're afraid of and why you're afraid of it. And then like, how can I manage this?
Gosh, that's just so good.
Well, it was great because any small business owner, it's a scary thing. It's a scary thing to be a small business owner. I'm sure it's also scary to be a big corporate CEO, but I don't know that kind of fear, so I'm not going to speak to it. Right. Being a small business owner, you're on the edge. The ups are up, the downs are down. You have to be able to live through it. And, we talk so much about being positive, but there's always that thing of being the toxic positivity of ignoring the fact of it. And instead, if you're taking that and owning that fear and then saying, well, what can I do about it? And turning it into action, to me, that ranks so true.
Absolutely. She just nailed it all right there. And that we talked about this earlier. I see things from a connected standpoint. So I see that it being able to be applied in so many different ways across my life that I'm just like drinking that in.
So next,
Lauren's already
She's
here.
already on point, giving us the help in the comments, because Lauren is a full-on rock star.
Yeah.
And when it comes to many things, but including production, and her experience using agile to maximize production flow was so smart.
Mm-hmm.
And her energy is infectious.
Uh-huh.
She had tons of good information, and we couldn't narrow them down to just one. So instead, you're going to get two that were our favorites.
2 bits of Lauren.
Clients, a lot of times that I've worked with, they don't do a good job documenting anything. and when they don't document, so this is literally how, this is my mentality. And I had to educate people on my own development team where I said, if it's not documented, the product doesn't exist.
It never happened.
I don't care if it's in code. I don't care if it's in production. I don't care if it's already there. If it's not documented, it does not exist. Because if you get hit by a bus and
we've had this conversation.
If you get hit by a bus and you're gone the next day, then what's going to happen? If it lives in your brain, it doesn't matter if you're gone. So it has to be documented. You have to lay it out. And a lot of clients do a poor job of that. If you aren't doing retrospectives, you're doing it wrong. Everyone needs to do retrospectives. And basically at the end of a sprint or at the end of a project, you sit down with a team and you reflect. You see, okay, what should I have done differently, right? Like, actually, there's 3 questions you want to ask yourself. What should I stop doing? What should I continue doing? And what should I start doing?
I just feel like I'm in the presence of greatness going back through all of these moments.
We were.
It's just so good. And
we are geniuses for getting such intelligent people to come
on
our show and talk.
It was all us.
That's
oh my gosh. See, and I will say that we have been doing retrospectives since season 1 on each episode. That's why we keep getting better and better.
That's what it is. Documentation, which is, I think, a struggle for a lot of creative people because you're living in the moment. You're living in that, but to get it down, to explain it, again, especially if you're a small business, if it's all in your head and you have these great ideas and you never actually put them down so that somebody else can implement them, they don't exist. They're not real.
Right.
They're your imaginary friend.
Yep. Yep.
So that one definitely resonated, and we also talked about it. We spent so much time after this episode talking, just Rachael and I, after about the conversation.
Yeah.
I joked about how my sister does this with her kids, the reflection piece of it, the retrospective.
Oh yeah.
Around the dinner table every day, she says, what was your rose, what was your thorn, and what was your hula hoop? So that she could take that concept and implement it early on in childhood so that when they get older, they still have those tools of what went well, what are you dropping, what are you adding in, so that they could start thinking critically about their day.
Those Ahern women. Always thinking.
No joke.
I love it. It's so, I mean, it's inspiring because, all I get from my kids is like, I don't know, it's fine. So kudos.
Well, I mean, you have plenty of those days.
Right.
But if you ask, so to that end, if you say, how was your day? You're going to get, okay, fine.
Yep.
Meh. If you say, what was your rose? What was your thorn? What was your hula hoop? In other words, what was your favorite moment, or what was the great moment? What was the bad one? And then what was, for her, what's the silly one because they're kids, as opposed to
right.
What are you going to add type of thing?
Right.
you get a much more specific response.
Yep.
So.
Oh my gosh. Look at Glenn. He's like, oh no. You guys, we're here for you, Glenn.
I know, right?
We are. I understand. Well, we wanted to share what Jenny had to say. Jenny was last week, and we are creatives. So most board game companies have the biggest challenges in budgeting and managing their finances because it's just not where our head's at. And that's okay because Jenny explained what kind of unsung heroes bookkeepers really are.
And you know what? That's what's creative about business owners. And you don't, as a business owner, need to run everything by the bookkeeper. Okay. Mm-hmm. So if it makes sense and this and that, I mean, I've done bookkeeping after the fact many a time. You know, there's hardly anything you can do that I can't sit there and somehow make it work. And a good bookkeeper can make it work. If you're really wanting to do something illegal, I would certainly sit there and tell you, don't do that again because I won't be able to, to help you. So this is a one-time offer and everything. But, you didn't know that accountants could get creative too. So
yes.
We have our own creative set of ways to work around and everything.
I love it. She's like, don't do anything illegal too many times because I can't help, but I know things.
You bring me a problem, I can get creative with it. It was amazing.
And the best takeaway from that we talked about was you can make mistakes and you can come back from them. And that was the biggest point. It's like, don't give up. There are ways to help.
Don't turn your fear into action. Don't just sit on it and go, I messed up, and try to hide that. Try not to think about it. Put that bill off to the side. Face it head on.
Yep.
And find somebody who can handle it where it's not just a massive stressor for you. That is why we have bookkeepers. That is why we have lawyers for contracts. That is, and don't take on that burden yourself. Get somebody who knows what they're doing to do it.
Yep. And then of course we had our moments that we didn't make our entire, I didn't clip them, but they were amazing and we want to talk about them. So do you have a favorite that we didn't cover here, Julie?
My unsung was Kaylin Smith. And I talking about when you're running a Kickstarter, so you go into business because you don't want to have a boss. And then you do a Kickstarter and you have thousands of them. Mm-hmm. And you can't yell at them. You can't be mad at them. You can't, do the defiant thing that you did, when you started your own company, so you didn't have to listen to anyone. And we had a moment where we were both yelling, being like, thank you for your money. Pretending to yell at them. And that was a gem for me. Yeah.
Oh, yes. I love that one too. But my favorite actually came from my favorite that we didn't cover here was the one that we actually had right off the bat at the beginning, the very first episode of season 3. Umida Islamova, she's from here in Lincoln also, and she's a business consultant and just helps entrepreneurs every day. And what my main takeaway from her, and just I felt it in my bones, was if you're transparent with your clients, with your customers, they're going to trust you because they feel like they're a part of the business. You're letting them in, you're giving them exposure to your weaknesses, your strengths, your challenges, and they're part of your entire, everything right there. So I really love that transparency builds trust. And if you're not transparent, your customers, your backers, your clients will know.
We live in a world of educated consumers. They will know.
Very. What in the keynote for Asmodee, when they walk in, they know more than you do about what's going on with that product. They've already done the research. When I go to buy a car, I know all the
They
things.
also know
before
more
I
about
walk
you
in.
as a business. They've done the research about you as a business and the product that they're interested in. And you do not have that. You can't.
Right.
They just walked in.
Exactly. So definitely so good. Loved it.
Yep.
Oh, let's look at the comments. I feel like everybody's finally waking up.
Yeah.
I am seriously, I just love this. This is so good. Transparency. Oh, Lauren, of course, laying down out all the knowledge again. Transparency has helped with so much with keeping our backers, our bosses happy too. Yes.
That's right.
Welcome to Kickstarter. I know Amy is in there and she knows that too.
Oh yeah.
Yep. So, what I also wanted to talk about today is what is going on with us. So, Julie,
Yeah.
I loved your show notes, by the way, that says
No.
it's done.
Those
There
are
we go.
private. Those are
I
not
know.
transparency.
Go ahead.
Last One's Pledge Manager is finally up. I'm rather excited about it.
Yeah.
I used colorful language to describe that fact
Yay!
in our notes this morning. But really, I am very happy we finally have the Pledge Manager up. And that was not because we didn't have the Pledge Manager ready. It was because we wanted to make sure that the Folklore Pledge Manager was done, and we were focusing on that when it happened. But it also meant that we had a lot of backers saying, Lost Ones, don't you love us? I'm like, I do love you. I love you. You are also my special little friends, but please wait. Thank you for your money. So the Lost Ones late pledge is now available. And that is exciting. And we've actually had pretty good reception so far to that. And that's been very gratifying. So there were people just waiting for the late pledge to get open and, of course, finalize their pledges from Kickstarter. So we have links to that in the show notes. And please go check it out if you have the opportunity.
Yes. I actually finished I completed my pledge manager last night for Lost Ones, and I almost texted you and I was like, no, I bugged her all day long, so it's fine. I did my job.
Carrie just said that they finished filling out their Lost Ones pledge manager, so thank you.
Oh man. Okay, well, I've had an interesting week. We actually White Wizard Games this week announced that they changed their name to Wise Wizard Games. The original name was a nod to Gandalf because, of course, but as the company has grown, we've realized that not everybody gets the Tolkien reference. I mean, the general consensus is that the comments and feedback have been really good. This change was a wise move. I like puns. I do. I love puns. So we actually also announced several new games, including Riders of Chaos, which is a game designed by Richard Garfield. It's going to be warriors that ride unpredictable, chaotic beasts in an arena. It's so cool. And there's minis. Oh my gosh, minis. And Robot Quest Arena is going to be a deck building game, and it is based off an IP. Robots battling like Pokemon style, and each player plays a kid that has built a cool robot. It's almost Big Hero 6-ish. But and like I said, it was a big week. Wise Wizard Games also announced their direct to retail program, where retailers can now buy direct from them. So that's been really exciting. And I've been a part-time contract worker at Wise Wizard, working on some of these initiatives, and it's been some big projects for me, and I've learned a ton from the experience. And since many of the large initiatives that I implemented are now set up as maintainable processes, I'm ready to take on some new clients. So I'm super excited about that. If anybody, I know. And if anybody is needing a variety of small projects, things that are just too much for you to get to, and you're wanting to outsource, and you need somebody who's well versed in all things publisher, ping me, and I can see if I can help take something off your plate.
That's a lot of news, friend.
So
way to bury the lead.
I know, right? I said everybody, you should go and stick around to the end of the show.
Well,
and then,
congratulations to everything at Wise Wizard.
well,
That's
thank you.
awesome.
I know it
And
was a lot of fun.
also, good for me.
Oh, good. So good. And next season is coming up. We're actually going to be back April 9th. We're going to take 2 weeks off because Julie is also wise and insisted that I calm down and actually take a break. So that's kind of the whole stepping back process too.
All right. So we're going to take 1 week to revamp because we like to change up everything in between seasons. And then 1 week where we take the actual week off.
Yeah.
And then we will be back.
Yes.
And yes, next season is, so this season was all about learning from other small business owners. The season previous was how to get it from concept to concrete. So how do you get your idea onto paper and get the prototype done and ready to manufacturing? So we kind of broke it up. Now that we're going back to that, revisiting, and okay, so you had your documented game. How are you getting it from those files into people's hands, buying them, playing them? So we're going to look much more into manufacturing, logistics, distribution, retail.
We're going industrial, people.
We're going, industry.
Awesome. I
So
loved it.
thank you so much.
Yes.
Thank you so much for hanging out with us this morning.
Mm-hmm.
And this awesome session was brought to you this week by XYZ Game Labs. So now that we're done here, head over there and see what they've got, all the cool things, arch ravels, and all that good stuff.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And you can always follow us on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and Pinterest. Links are all in the description box below.
Just so you know, yes, on Sunday, 3:00 Eastern Daylight Time, we will be doing a Clubhouse Q&A about Gamma.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I'll make sure and post that somewhere.
Enjoy your Friday. Enjoy your weekend.
Mm-hmm.
And remember, April 9th, you're invited.